The MD had to drain for me. And also at the gluteus minimus, there's a big fatty tumor.
Okay.
So I think, yes, it's,
well,
it's a problem that is in relationship to the sluggishness of the liver.
Yeah, the gluteus, right in the middle of the gluteus muscle is a point called gallbladder 30. And often when you have problems there, it's a result of the energetics of the gallbladder not working the way it's supposed to. Yeah. So you're relating several different pieces of the puzzle. One, the pain between your shoulder blades, and that area of irritation that you had in the gluteus area. And if we went through, we probably could pick out 3 or 4 more. You can be helped, but it has to be done very specifically. And then you would take a look at the dietary patterns to make sure that they are appropriate. It's one thing being vegan. It's another thing being a very smart vegan, so things are balanced the way they should be. I hope that's helpful, Sarah. And if we can be of further use to us, please give us a call.
I will. Thank you.
You're welcome. 888-630-9625. That's 888-630-WMAL. Love to take your calls on any subject that you have in mind. We're talking a little bit about allergy reactions and perspectives. We said that some people suffer from very, very severe reactions when it comes to allergies. Gallbladder problems can be one of them. And as I said, in my experience over time, one of the primary problems with the gallbladder is undiagnosed allergies. And once you find them and you remove them, you desensitize them, things begin to turn around significantly. And I want to take you through what we do for allergy reactions, because it's a combination of therapies. Like many of us over the years, so much is out there, so much is written, and we all steal from each other, but we put together things that work the best. You have NAT, number allergy elimination. You have Michael Leibowitz's work. You have John Brimhall's work, and then you have things that are specifically from acupuncture and that only. But you take those things that work the best, and when you find an allergy problem, the process is to turn the body back on. Get the system so it works properly. When you look at and understand the protocols, you understand why the body has acted in a certain way. You understand that there's a recognition that all things in our world around us have electrical fields, electromagnetic fields. And this is a different look at things. It's a neurological, chemical reaction. And whether it's, these electrical fields are put out by our bodies, or is put out by the electrical waves around us, or the food that we eat, food that is dense, like animal meat and so forth, has a lower electrical charge than food that is new and raw and so forth, like a vegetable. The electromagnetic energy is associated with the acupuncture pathways in traditional Chinese medicine, and it's a piece of the puzzle that we use and have used for many years. And it's very identifiable. Your energy system and brain interpret substances that come into it, whether it's a whole wheat bagel or a peanut or even water or sunlight, as either potentially harmful to you or something that it needs to nourish and enhance your capacity. So when these things come into your system, the body kind of goes into a fail-safe protective mode. Certain things are great and certain things are. When it recognizes it as being bad, your whole energetic system shifts, and the body goes into a fight-flight reaction, and that's where you get the symptoms that are associated with whatever it is that it's reacting to. But diagnostically, when we can find the specifics, and unfortunately most traditional blood type of testing isn't specific enough. But what we do is we use homeopathic samplings of many different things, hundreds of different substances, whether they're foods, whether they're chemicals, and so forth, and we use large magnets to test them over the body. We put them actually over acupuncture points and use a south pole of a 10,000 Gauss magnet. Those of you know magnets, that's a huge magnet. And then we test muscle function. If muscles stay strong, as they should not weaken on testing. And when we say strong, it's not a strength test between you and the doctor. It's whether the muscle causes or it has the ability to hold, or becomes mushy on the testing in the initial phase. That tells us whether we've got something that hurts the body or doesn't hurt the body. And then we can identify very specifically what it is, whether it's a sensitivity, a toxic reaction to the liver, whether it's a pure allergy reaction kicking in all the pathways of allergy sensitive reactions. And then we know what we're dealing with, and we actually can take steps to turn it around. But before we get into that, I want to go back to the phones. Kathy, how can I help you? Thank you for calling.
Hi, I have a question. You have mentioned a few times that black pepper is very inflammatory.
Yes, ma'am.
And I have heard of a product from Irwin Naturals called Inflamma Less to help reduce inflammation. And it contains a fair amount of something called bioperine black pepper extract. And I just wondered about that.
The problem with marketing is that they will use substances that have certain reactions in the body and sometimes neglect to consider some of the side effects, the contraindications. Even though good companies won't do that. Companies, professional, natural companies like Zymogen and Thorne and Standard Process Laboratories and so forth will, they know what their outcome is. They know that they can't put things in that will step on the outcome. But you have to be very, very careful. In my experience, over 35 years of practice, when you have somebody who has a tendency to have inflammatory reactions in the body, particularly in digestive function in the gallbladder, black pepper is not something that you want to use. Now, extracts of different substances may not have the same effect. It depends on what they're pulling out of it, what the process of the extraction is, and then you would test that. In our practice, when we put somebody on a certain substance or a certain product, we test it. And how we test that is we'll test a muscle that's strong. We have the patient laying on their back, and we isolate a muscle very specifically. We see if that muscle holds strong. We take that substance, as I'm talking right now, and we put it under a large magnet, and we put it over liver acupuncture point, liver 14, which is at the lower portion of the chest. We'll put it at a different place, and we'll test the muscle. If the muscle weakens, we've got a problem. Kathy, I've got to take a break. Love to help you. Give me a call or write me, and I'll answer your question even further. This is Dr. Tom Roselle. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
This is Dr. Tom Roselle, live on 630 WMAL. Dr. Tom Roselle Live continues now on 630 WMAL.
Welcome back. This is Dr. Tom Roselle. You're listening to Dr. Tom Roselle Live. I've been in studio at 888-630 WMAL, and we've been talking about a lot of different things, and one of them was a caller that just called the last time was a question on black pepper. Here's a little bit more. For the longest time in my life, I've added black pepper to all kinds of things. And the problem is that all these articles that say that black pepper can be anti-inflammatory is not true. It can actually be a very, very nasty inflammatory agent, and you have to be very careful. But particularly as it affects the gallbladder, a lot of studies out there are saying that black pepper works to decrease inflammation in joint spaces. But when you have one substance affecting one area of the body differently than another, it has to make you stop and think that maybe that's not true. So you have to do the research. There's a whole lot more out there. And I'll tell you what, I will post this week the information and where to get it on our website, actually on our Facebook blog. So if you go into rosellecare.com, I will write several pieces of information about black pepper and why I say what I say, because today's program is not about black pepper, but I want you to understand it, and I want you to understand why I think the way I do when it comes to that. Talking about allergy problems, and what I want you to know is that your body's energy field interprets things as potentially harmful or potentially supportive. And your energy pathways become scrambled. They freeze up, if you will, and when you have something that is unsuitable for your body to function with. And things have happened over a period of time, either through trauma or through chemical exposures or through stress. And when those things happen, the time you put foods in your body, sometimes that's all it takes to have you become sensitive to that, and we can test that, and we can find that, and we back up a lot of our muscle function testing with laboratory tests. So we use ELISAC LRA testing through Serum Immune Laboratories, and that often will give us delayed responses. But we can desensitize these things, stimulating very specific acupuncture points with laser, with needles, and changing the environment of the intestinal system. And over a period of time, suddenly these things that you were avoiding like crazy, you can actually put back into your diet. And if you had very serious respiratory reactions, now, even though that you may not be able to have them on a regular basis, if you accidentally get them into your diet, you're not going to end up in the hospital. It's important that you understand the body is a self-regulating machine, and you can tweak it in a way so it re-recognizes its ability to do what it's supposed to do and balance things, so it doesn't go into hyper-reaction. So what we do is we stimulate it, we stimulate the brain, we stimulate your whole nervous system to neutralize the allergic response and your allergic reaction. It works amazingly well. If you have a problem, if you'd like to talk to me privately, you can call our office at 703-698-7117. I'll have somebody get back to you, or rosellecare.com. This is Dr. Tom Roselle. See you next week at 12 o'clock. Bye.